Hello, I am Shane Nelson, your Deschutes County Sheriff. As your sheriff, I am the conservator of the peace and chief executive officer of our county. I uphold the constitutions of the United States of America and the state of Oregon, to include the laws therein. Alongside the great women and men of your sheriff's office, we provide public safety and enhanced livability to our community, our home. Recent events have caused me some concern, which is why I am addressing you all today, my 200,000 bosses, my community members. I condemn racism and believe people should treat others as they would want their family members to be treated. I wholly support and respect the Bend Police Department, Chief Mike Krantz, and their officers. The professional women and men who work hard day in and day out to provide public safety and service in our county seat. We have a strong partnership with the Bend Police Department and assist each other often. In recent months, there have been several protests, with estimates of the protests in June totaling nearly 3,000 people. Due to our tight-knit and respectful community, there have been only minor issues and criminal allegations related to these protests. In June, Central Oregon Black Leaders Assembly Director Ricardo Waits organized a peaceful Juneteenth march up Pilot Butte in coordination with the Bend Police Department. I respect him for his efforts to look to the future and positively affect our community by forming a nonprofit which is working to raise money for scholarships and to recruit additional people of color into our local workforce to find great employees, teammates, and increase diversity and opportunity. Our office has asked him to share our job openings, and he was more than willing to do it. He comes from the viewpoint of looking at everyone's similarities instead of our differences. He is leading by example. I understand there are strong emotions related to these protests. I implore individuals to respect official processes for complaints and investigations as they take time to determine the facts and outcome. Our DA has stated publicly he will review all cases with his office, and regardless of who the individual is affiliated with, our DA will make a finding and respond. I agree with the Bend Police Department. It is unacceptable to interfere with law enforcement officers and aggressively approach them or block law enforcement vehicles which at any time could be needed to respond to emergency situations in our community. Individuals who display this type of behavior can create a potentially dangerous situation for law enforcement or themselves. It is also unacceptable to disrupt law enforcement operations, as our duty is to respond to calls for service and meet community public safety needs. The Bend Police Department is a professional organization doing an outstanding job handling these protests. I know because this weekend there were 2 large-scale protests with little to no issues outside of the disruption to the Bend Police Department's service delivery. On a television news report, I was alarmed to hear that a member of the Central Oregon Diversity Project, while protesting with members of the Central Oregon Peacekeepers, stated on camera, quote, "Honestly, we don't have a lot of faith that it will be handled the way it should. We want to take matters into our own hands right now and not keep relying on the system that has repeatedly failed us." End quote. According to the news story, the member did not say what the next step might be. My hope is that this means they will continue to peacefully assemble and not interfere with law enforcement or their operations as they let their voice be heard. My hope is they will continue to use proper reporting channels and processes in place to have their concerns addressed. I understand emotions can run high. As community members, we must follow and respect the law. As law enforcement, we must maintain order for public safety. I will not allow what is happening in Portland to happen here. I condemn acts of violence, vandalism, and criminal activity. I condemn attempts or actions to shove, spit on, aggressively approach, or assault law enforcement officers, and actions to negatively contact them or their family members. It affects public safety. It affects us all. Your sheriff's office is proud to serve our community together with our law enforcement partner agencies. And with the support of our family members and community members, we will continue to do so.